City of Stevens Point Police and Fire Commission meeting, recorded April 3rd, 2025.
It's 1 o'clock. Candy, if we'll bring the meeting to order, if we can have a roll.
Barron?
Here.
Kirschling?
Here.
Rozek? Here. Ostrowski?
Here.
Zenner?
Here. All right, everybody's here and accounted for. Number 2, President's Report. It's a sad day for the City of Stevens Point, this commission, and the citizens. Commissioner Bob Ostrowski has decided to step down, and this will be his last meeting as a commissioner. It's been, what, 10 and a half years?
Yes.
You've had multiple roles on this commission. But most recently, you've been the secretary, taking care of the bills. Always have done a fantastic job. Your valuable knowledge, your infinite wisdom is going to be extremely missed, and I mean that very, very sincerely. You've always went above and beyond whatever you've done, and you've always put 100% effort into it, and it shows. For me, I'm going to speak personally for me. When you came on the commission, we started out as colleagues, and now you're leaving the commission and you're leaving as a friend. And I want to thank you very much for all your dedication, for your hard work, for serving the city of Stevens Point and its citizens. And I wish you, whatever you decide to do moving forward, I wish you the absolute very best.
Thank you, Joe. It's been a real pleasure, and it was a very hard decision to make. But I do believe there's a time in your life that from anything you need to move on and let others take over. And I felt very strongly that this was the time. I did come on this board with some ideas in mind, only to learn that I wasn't right. There were other reasons. I also came on with the idea that I wanted to give back the 3 departments that had given to me. Over the years, I've had to use the ambulance service, I've had to use the fire department, and I've had to use the police department. And I wanted in some way to give back to them. And I wanted to advise the people of Stevens Point how lucky they are for the departments they have. I don't think a lot of departments rise to the professionalism that I've seen from these departments. And yes, a number of people that I served with commissioners were fellow commissioners, but turned out to be friends. A real good one that we lost just recently was Ron Carlson. One of the favorite memories I'll have of Ron was negotiating over baseball cards with him. And if anybody knows, he was a great collector of them, and he conned me out of a couple of good ones. So, but that's the type of thing. You do get rewarded in service by other ways. And I got my thank you over the years of seeing the department develop as well as they all have. Thank you.
Denise, did you want to say something?
Yes. It is a sad day because, Bob, you are irreplaceable. Your knowledge goes above and beyond, your contribution to the PFC. I'm going to really miss your witty comments, your relatable stories to the departments. It's been a pleasure getting to know you both personally and professionally.
Thank you.
All right. Number 3, approval of minutes. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as proposed.
Second, I'm Rozek.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Number 4, confirmation of bills. Mr. Secretary.
Back to the guy with the big mouth. Okay. First one on the agenda we got is facing us is the ambulance service. If you look down, nothing unusual steps out except for the fact that people be aware of the training and the IT costs money. You can see on their software represents 30% of the expenses for the month. So, and then if you look to the second page of that, you find that they're running within in line, 25% of the budget, 25% of the year out, so we're running on course there. You turn to the fire department, much the same there. What people need to realize is when we go through so many people, so much personnel expense for equipment for the new people and as well as training, it costs the city a lot of money. So we got to do our best to hang on to people, but unfortunately that happens. The other thing is a lot of our equipment is of ages that is breaking down, and you can see there's some repair bills there. But again, nothing unusual steps out there. And if you look to their budget, they're running around. And remember that the running budget is a month behind, so you need to add to it. They're running slightly over the 25%, but nothing that's panicky at this time. When you get to the police department, there we've got good-sized bills this month, but mainly because of one bill, and that is the fingerprint machine. Chief, as I indicated to you, I'd like you to explain what that is and why it is.
Correct. We have a fingerprint machine here. It's for our CJIS compliance, our criminal justice informational system. It's we have to do, every single officer gets fingerprinted. Anybody that has access to information here has to get fingerprinted. We also do fingerprinting for businesses throughout the city. About 3 months ago, they contacted Assistant Chief Dana Williams, told us that that one was going to be obsolete, and that we needed to purchase a new one immediately, and so it was $9,000.
Thank you, Chief, because that's the type of stuff nobody budgeted us. I mean, figured on that a year ago or 6 months ago when you're looking on budgets. So that kind of expenditure kind of jumps out at you. Again, nothing else jumps out at such other than uniforms, which is due to new people. So, and if you take their budget and add it to the running total, you'll find they're running a little bit above they're probably running closer to 28, 29% of the budget rather than 25. But again, some things just happen that way. A lot of our expenses fall at the beginning of the year, like replacing ammunition and stuff like that. Same thing with the fire department. Stuff comes quite often at the beginning of the year, like uniforms. So I'm not panicky at this point, but and I appreciate. I want to thank all three departments for watching their money, because I think they deserve a tremendous pat on the back on being able to operate for the last 5 years with a 0% increase. I do not know how you did it. Living on Social Security, I can tell you, living on a 0% increase, I know what you're going through. So, thank you. And with that, I would like to recommend we approve the bills as submitted.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
The Wisconsin Public Service, Chief, is it $5,000 and you split it between the two? I mean, or is that two different buildings? You know, see how that's 22 and 22, 28, and then 22, 88, 30? Like, how does that work?
So yes, we have to take into account both of our stations when we take care of those things. But when it comes to, what do you have, what line item that is?
I think it's line item 1 on, this is the ambulance and this is the fire department. I was just curious how this works.
Yep, so that we actually split between the fire and ambulance, and that's what the total cost was.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion.
Second by Morozek.
We have a second. Any other questions, comments? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Number 5, discussion to move next month's meeting to either Tuesday, May 6th or Thursday, May 8th. Does anybody have a preference? Doesn't it matter?
I prefer the Thursday, but I should be back by Tuesday.
Okay. It doesn't matter to me either.
Why don't we go with the Thursday then?
Okay.
Accommodate.
All right, then I don't think that needs a motion. We'll just move next week. next month's meeting to Thursday, May 8th. Number 6, Police Chief report.
Moving that to May 8th, I will talk about May 7th. Mike Schultz, who's been an officer here for 28 years, he is retiring. He held a lot of positions here at the Stevens Point Police Department. He was on patrol, school resource officer, detective, narcotics detective, sensitive crimes investigator. Currently is our court officer, but he will be leaving us on May 7th at 10 o'clock. We'll have a gathering here at the PD, so please come and join us for that to celebrate his time here. On Monday, we swore in Alex Toddy and Marcus Soa. They are currently attending Fox Valley Tech for the 720 Academy. And then this week, I also got a resignation letter from Officer Trevor Zingler. His last day will be April 25th. He is getting out of law enforcement completely. With that being said, this March, we had crossing guard Agnes Kowalski. She retired after 21 and a half years of service with our community. A.C. Williams and Lieutenant Johnson took Agnes back to Jefferson School, where she worked her entire career, and they kind of celebrated all of her time with us. And then just two other things. Very, very proud of our SWAT team. As you well know, the SWAT team is made up of Point and Plover personnel. And on March 11th, Lieutenant Johnson represented our department down at the Association of SWAT Personnel conference with several other individuals from our SWAT team. And they were named SWAT Team of the Year with Portage County, Marathon County, Waupaca County, for their combined efforts during the 26-hour standoff SWAT operation that occurred in Amherst in July of last year. So again, they were named SWAT Team of the Year with several other agencies. And then I am very happy to state Chief Ewing from the fire department obviously came here to Stevens Point, and one of the things that he talked about is getting a paramedic on our SWAT team. And he kind of took the reins and started looking into it and met up with Lieutenant Johnson, and the two of them worked together, and Chief Ewing came up with an MOU for Chief Moody and I to sign, and we signed it into effect on March 14th, and so as of right now, we do have a paramedic that will be on our SWAT team as well, taking care of all of us in case we get hurt. That's it.
Very good.
Chief, is that paramedic, is that a one person or is that a rotating?
It is one person right now. Hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to get more than one individual on there.
Okay.
All right. Have a motion?
Got a motion to approve the police chief's report.
Second. Barrett?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Number 7, discussion with possible action on long-term contract with the Village of Park Ridge for fire suppression and first responder needs in the village. Chief.
That is correct. I have met with the Village of Park Ridge on both the fire suppression contract and the EMR contract for the Village of Park Ridge. As many of you know, we have been in a long-standing contract with the Village of Park Ridge when it comes to EMR responses, dating back many decades. This contract has been on a 5-year basis, and for some reason, going back into our history, no one can really explain to me why the contract always ended the end of May and the new contract was always established the first part of June. But with that and realizing that, to plan ahead with our fire suppression contract, we made both of these to expire at the end of next month in May, and June 1st being that potential new contract. What we tried to do is pair them in tandem so that they would run parallel to each other. We did not want to muddy the waters and combine them. They are two separate contracts. And with that, I provided both to you, and they will be in effect from June 1 of this year and through December 31st of 2029. I know that is a 4.5-year contract if you do the math. Then the plan would be to run them, again, parallel with each other, January 1st of 2030 through December 31st of 2034. So they'd be a 5-year contract running parallel to each other. I think the easier one to go through first would be the EMR contract. None of the language in that contract changed except for the dates.
Chief, I'm going to interrupt you for a minute. Do you have copies of those? We don't have them in our packet.
Okay.
Make copies?
Please. I apologize.
That's okay. Should we come back to it?
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay. All right. We'll, as long as that's okay with everybody, we'll come back to number 7. Moving on to number 8, discussion with possible action to approve a $5,000 grant from the Community Foundation of Central Wisconsin.
Yes, so we have been participating in water rescues and recoveries for, again, many decades. Have many people trained in swift water, ice water rescue, and we purchased an Aqua Eye here a few years back. And with the most recent technology updates and with working with other agencies, our department decided that it was a priority or important to get a side scan sonar for our watercraft that we deploy in these types of situations. Members of our department, Lieutenant Schultz, Zander, motor pump operator Fleisner, worked diligently to put a grant together to enhance our water and ice capabilities. And the Community Foundation of Central Wisconsin was willing to give us a $5,000 grant towards that equipment.
Who's that again?
The Community Foundation of Central Wisconsin. And we've already gotten the check in hand. They're very active with us, very progressive, and it is a large portion of the funding. I was just informed this last week also that there are other organizations now that have found out that we are going to be purchasing this side scanning sonar capabilities and what we're going to be doing with it. And other local organizations are also looking to donate towards this purchase. And I will be coming forward with other organizations as well, looking for the PFC to accept these donations or grants towards this equipment that we're going to be using to hopefully locate individuals in this situation.
Did it come through the Community Foundation or from somebody else through the Community Foundation? That's okay if it came just from the Community Foundation.
It came from the Community Foundation.
The reason I asked that is I've worked with the Central Wisconsin Community Foundation of Central Wisconsin, and they're a terrific organization. They do a ton of great things for our community, and sometimes donations will come from someone private through them. Sometimes donations come from them specifically.
My understanding is it came from the Community Foundation.
Okay. That's
not from someone through there.
Okay. Terrific.
Because normally when we have those types of situations, normally I will bring that up and I will make sure that if those people want to remain anonymous, we do it that way. But I believe this is strictly from the Community Foundation itself.
Terrific.
Chief, that piece of equipment that you're going for, are you waiting to purchase that till you get enough funds from people, or are you going ahead and just decreasing the cost to us?
No, we're going to continue to move forward with it as we speak. This would just reduce the cost that we would have to provide during that purchase process.
Would this unit then be available to use in other areas other than Stevens Point?
Yes, absolutely.
Good neighbor policy, in other words.
Correct. Just like Chief Cuso's drones, it's the same process with our water rescue team, their training, and our equipment.
Well, I think that's important to find out because I think there might be somebody else outside of the point, as Joe pointed out, that might want to donate to it.
Right now, the furthest deployed our water team has gone up to this point, as me being the chief over the last 3 years, is to Manawa. When the dam gave way, our water rescue team did respond to Manawa for that situation. That's the furthest the team's gone, to my knowledge, but we are available to go anywhere through our Mavis partners or through, throughout the state.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. I'll make a motion to accept the $5,000 grant from the Community Foundation of Central Wisconsin.
I'd like to second that.
All right, a motion and a second, and I'm going to just say thank you very much to the Community Foundation of Central Wisconsin for the generous grant of $5,000. That's pretty generous. Anything else? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Number 9, Stevens Point Fire Department 2024 Annual Report Presentation. Chief?
Correct. So this year, like last, we went ahead and bound our annual report into more of a booklet. And I just wanted to run through it and point out a lot of significant events that happened over the last year within the Stevens Point Fire Department. Again, the Stevens Point Fire Department saw an increase in its responses. Last year, we responded to 5,559 calls for service. And within our organization, when you look at our administrative team, A crew, B crew, and C crew, I'd like to point out, if you notice at the top of each crew and the administrative team, we have now local internal patches that and department pride that we took this last year in creating those. We kind of turned that over to the crews to design their crew logos, and they went ahead and did such. And with some really talented individuals within the organization, they were able to come up with what you see there. On the next page, again, just throwing a bunch of pictures together, recognizing some of the things that we feel are important within our organization and things we do day in and day out. Our organizational structure, and again, a thanks to the Police and Fire Commission and the members that support us as commissioners and alders and the mayor within the city of Stevens Point. When it comes to personnel data, we had 4 new employees hired within the Stevens Point Fire Department this last year. We had some milestones hit, 2015 and 5 years. We had a promotion, and we had 1 resignation this last year. You can see that the top 5 reasons for our ambulance calls and dispatches during 2024. And for those calls where we responded within our call area for service. Under the EMS section, hand-heavy continues to be an important part of what we do. Being able to have that cellular device available on the front line to be able to assist us with medication dosages, equipment sizes for the patients that we are treating out in the field. Underneath that, you'll see a breakdown for service and what type or age groups we're responding for. Fire calls continued to be up this last year, going from 1,234 calls to 1,541 calls. And I know the big question that comes up is what kind of calls we're going out on throughout the year, and so we were able to break that down as well. Wanted to update everybody on our fleet and some of our fire apparatuses within our fleet, and then also the addition of the 3 new command vehicles that were that we took ownership of in 2024. Another big project I'd like to point out that we were able to capitalize on is we were able to acquire an enclosed trailer from Midstate Technical College in their partnership, and we had Lieutenant Astrike and motor pump operator Fleisner take many hours to rip it apart, completely redo the trailer, and make sure that it's available for service now, not only as an air supply trailer, but other equipment that we may need out at Station 2 or down at the training site. Last year, we were able to capitalize on a $34,000 grant for new hose and nozzles from Firehouse Subs. That was a huge success for us in what we were able to do moving forward and what we were able to purchase, knowing that per our standards, every 10 years, hose expires. The SCBAs continue to function. Remember, we got that on a huge grant as well, hundreds of thousands of dollars through a FEMA grant. Dustin Fleisner continues to run that program, and I'd like to point out firefighter paramedic Brian Fisher has stepped up and is assisting him with many different things in SCBAs and fit testing. Motor pump operator Pete Ostrowski continues to monitor our 4 gas meters within our organization and continues to make sure they're calibrated, up to date. We actually got some new equipment this last year because some of our other stuff was out of date and unserviceable. The training division, I can't say enough there. Between the division chief of training and the division chief in charge of fire prevention in the Bureau, these 2 programs have gone leaps and bounds in the last 5 years. I'd like to point out over 8,000 internal and external training hours have been completed by the members of the Stevens Point Fire Department with this division now. The training grounds have continued to grow by adding a new 3-story burn facility this past year. And the Bureau continues to set a record pace for inspections that they continue to go out and do. In 2024, they went on over 2,000 fire inspections. When we created the Bureau, we were running about 800 to 1,000 inspections. The first year we went to 1,250. The second year we were over 1,500. And now when we continue to move forward, over 2,000 inspections were done. The individuals back there continue to work hard. They've taken the inspections off the line completely. Our lieutenants no longer go out and do inspections. The line is not out inspecting. The only time they do inspections is for training purposes when they need to know the building construction of first due buildings and what's involved. The Investigation Bureau, headed by Assistant Chief Zavara and Lieutenant Schultz, continues to grow in partnership with the Stevens Point Police Department and the MOU we have established with Chief Cuso. We have one established with the Portage County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Lucas, and we did have one with the university and Chief Bobble, and since the new chief has taken over, we just need to connect and make sure that we have that MOU put in place for the university. I'd like to point out the Justin Malin was recognized as the Fire Inspector of the Year. That just goes to show where our Bureau has gone over the past few years of creating the Bureau. And the public education that they're providing out of that bureau as well. This last year was the first time that we held an open house at the Stevens Point Fire Department in decades. And it was really great to see the public there and to get everyone's involvement. The Explorer program continues to flourish as we continue to bring new members in and explain more about fire and EMS. Again, the grant program, without the grants that we're receiving, the fire department would not have the equipment that it has. RTF continues to be successful, and again, Chief Kuso talked about Lieutenant Johnson and Division Chief Ewing's progression from RTF to having a Thames medic now on the SWAT team. Peer support and CISM is always important to us, and we are now in the process of partnering with Wood County as well and making a Portage/Wood County CISM team. So they are moving forward with that as we speak. Buildings and grounds has been is always problematic for Chief Kudrowski with aging buildings. Connor Pilot, one of our firefighter paramedics, continues to run the smoke detector installation program with 11 installed this last year. And our honor guard, the Stevens Point Police Department has had an honor guard for years. The fire department has not. We have just recently really established that and sending 2 honor guard commanders to school in 2022, and we are currently in the process of sending 2 more. I believe this next week they are taking off for school. Continue to work with advanced therapy and everything they do for the department and its members. And then also now having emergency management underneath the Stevens Point Fire Department. We want to recognize and make sure we know what emergency management is doing within the organization. Before I take questions, I would like to show a video spotlighting the members of the Stevens Point Fire Department throughout 2024 and some of their accomplishments. And again, this would not be possible without all the men and women of the Stevens Point Fire Department and setting that high standard and understanding what the mission, the vision, and the core values are within our organization. Karen Baxter, our administrative assistant, and spending so many hours on this. And Sarah with putting this video together that you're about to see. Without all of these people, this would not be possible. I wouldn't have my job. I wouldn't be sitting up here in front of all of you. So it's important that we take an opportunity to recognize all of them. And with that, I'd like to just let Sarah show the video. Today marks not only a culmination of years of hard work and dedication, but also brings a new chapter filled with endless possibilities and opportunities.
I'm incredibly honored to be standing here today receiving the grant from the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. This grant will be instrumental in helping us meet industry standards, increase firefighting effectiveness, and continue to serve the people of Stevens Point and of Portage County in emergency situations.
about finding the courage to confront our fears and chase our dreams relentlessly, regardless of the obstacles that may lay ahead.
Our goal, 90% of the time, is to be out of the door within 60 seconds for EMS calls.
Kind of think about what the building inside the house is going to look like before we go in, so we can kind of keep track of where we are.
It makes Stevens Point Fire Department a significant place to work, to be, and to be a part of an important family. And I, as the chief, appreciate each and every one of you.
It's really cool.
So again, without Sarah's abilities to be able to put this together, Karen's ability to put the annual report together, and the men and women of the Stevens Point Fire Department, none of this would be possible. And I think it's important to recognize them through this process in the annual report. So at this time, I guess I'll open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
One question, two parts. One, are extra copies of this report available when you're out recruiting? And two, is that video that we just had available to be shown to organizations here in town?
Yes to both. These annual reports will be available when we're out recruiting and at job fairs or out at intern fairs. Also, the presentation that you saw done by Sarah has already been posted and is out there representing and promoting the Stevens Point Fire Department. So yes, they are both available.
But I think they're both reasons. I think this does, and the movie, do a lot for, what I say, explaining the modern fire department and ambulance service. I think a lot of people have preconceived notions, and they don't really know what your department all does anymore. I mean, it's not a truck with a hose and a ladder anymore. There's far more than that, and that video did an excellent job. You're to be commended, young lady, at just pointing out the simple things, but how powerful the department needs are.
Yes.
That's just outstanding. I mean, makes me want to join.
Excellent video, excellent book. A couple things just wanted to point out that were great to have. Just, like broken down, like this is one of your fire trucks. For a guy that's worked with, on the other side of law enforcement, hearing words like the quint, I still don't know what a quint looks like. So now I can go in your annual report and actually look at what you're talking about, particular books, or trucks that were involved. The one thing I wanted to bring up, though, EMS services, great with it all broken down to calls. I'm not seeing, I might be missing something here, City of Stevens Point. It has the towns, villages, hospitals I'm seeing, but page 13.
Yes. It does not.
Are the calls for service for the brackets that are broken down, is that just what's listed here?
Yes, outside of the city.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there any chance
That you can find out how many calls we had within the city?
we can add that or something to an addendum to it? At least something that's on file within the city?
What I can do is I can add that to next year's annual report to make sure we have that. But as far as for this year, in this, probably not, but it is out there online through what the PFC has asked for.
Okay.
So when you pull up, again, under the city website, what we've asked for, that the living document will have that ability to break that apart.
The annual?
No, that'll actually show how many calls for each area, including the city, and what we responded to in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not in the annual report. I can put that in there for next year, and I'll put that note on there. But it is out there under the current city website and Continuum.
Because this is out there for the public to view, this whole booklet, correct? Or
The report will eventually be out there.
Right.
And we could add that electronically.
That's what I was saying, maybe just do.
Yeah, we can add it
a bullet
electronically.
On top of it, just like to draw attention to how
Yep.
much was service. EMS
We can do that
services.
electronically. when we-
Yeah, just something
Yeah.
that if a person's 3, 4, or 5 years down the line, they can look back at an annual report.
I think that would be sufficient for
Yeah,
2024.
if that's what as long as like, when we put the annual report out there electronically, you're just asking to add the City of Stevens Point calls to that, well, as part of the bar graph. Yeah, we can do that.
Right, just to see where it goes for calls for service within the city. It might be a little too much to go.
So you'll just
into
have
each.
one bar that'll be really,
Yeah. Is the fire service stats reflective of what's going on in the city, or is the city excluded from that too, based on the EMS?
you mean the 1,541 calls?
Right.
Well, if they're fire calls, they would be city calls that were going on within the city.
Okay.
Yeah, so the only part we'd have to break down would be the EMS calls within the city.
Okay.
Fire calls are we could break it down to how many calls are within the city and how many times we go to Hall or Plover, but that's going to be, out of this 1,541, roughly, I would say less than 30, 40 total that you're going to see that we'd have to break down, that we would go outside the city with these call numbers.
Okay.
So that, I didn't feel was
that's
real
fine.
relevant.
Right.
But the EMS side, yeah, if we want to add that, I can make that on the electronic, and then in the future, annually, we can add that to the printed report as well.
Okay.
Yep, not a problem.
So Chief, what we're saying on those fire calls, in 3 years, we went up 500 calls.
Roughly.
So we're running.
2021.
We're running about 4.5 to 5 calls a day.
Fire,
Yeah, just for
from the fire side, yes.
I think those are important facts that we need to get out into the public.
I think the other thing that, well, we're going to bring that up next month, but Chief Savara has been working very diligently with the state, and we are going to be beta testing some new reporting equipment very soon, and that'll come up next month, because he has been working very diligently on this, and we've seen a need for it. So our department is going to be one of 400, correct? 400 nationwide that are going to be beta testing the new programs. So a big accomplishment for the city of Stevens Point, but we'll discuss that more next month. But yes, that's part of that.
Anything else? All right, I will say thank you, Sarah, very much for your hard work on that. That video is
Tremendous.
beyond expectations. Very good. And two things, I agree with what everybody else has said about the annual report. Two things I want to point out is Deputy Fire Marshal Malin and Chief Moody being the Fire Chief of the Year. These are both very, very high honors to achieve, and to have both of them happen within our department is extraordinary. And I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept?
I so move that we accept the Fire Department 2024 annual report as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. Number 10, Fire Chief Report, EMS Report, EM Report. Chief?
Mr. President, before you go there, do we want to go back and discuss the village stuff now that everybody has the copies? Or do
If
we
you'd
want-
like to go that, do the other commissioners agree with that? All right, let's go back to number 7. I'll reread it. It's discussion with possible action on long-term contract with the Village of Park Ridge for fire suppression and first responder needs in the village.
First of all, going back to this, I will apologize. I thought that everyone would have everything. If there are additional questions that may not be able to be answered here, or if there are other things that come up that you need answers to, please reach out, and I will help you through understanding the two contracts.
Chief, there are no apologies needed. It was, it happened, and it's okay.
It was missed by me. I should apologize.
No, it's
Okay.
it's fine. So under the EMR contract, again, nothing, the language is not changing. There is no changes in the contract. The only thing that's changing in the EMR contract are the dates. Continuing with a 5-year term, and again, moving forward, this one would expire December 31st of 2029. What this does is it allow, what we provide is when there is a critical call within the village of Park Ridge, we will send a fire suppression unit to provide EMR services or emergency services as paramedics and to assist with the ambulance. The Village of Park Ridge pays for that service and has paid for that service for many decades. And so with that, that would be the first contract that we would be looking at. There has been no issues. I have reached out to the village and asked if there has been any issues from the village's side. There are no issues from the village's side. They wish to continue the contract. There has been no issues from the Stevens Point Fire Department side and how we conduct business or how we're operating within the village. So with that, are there any questions on that contract?
And confirming it's still going directly to your budget.
Correct. It is the fire department.
Still, okay.
It is for the fire department. And then, any other questions with that? Okay, the larger contract in front of you is the fire suppression agreement, 2025 through 2029. And a majority of the language has not changed. Dates and times obviously have changed. And then section 3 is where I'd like to point out the language changes. And basically this is to come up with the agreed upon financial impact to the Village of Park Ridge for these services. We have been paid out through May 31st of this year, but then we would need a successor contract June 1 of this year through December 31st. And as you can see, the sum total, and again, that would be paid out in 2 equal payments. The Village of Park Ridge has asked that we continue to do 4 equal payments quarterly throughout a year. You can see in 2026 the increases and how much that works out to quarterly. 2027, 2028, and 2029. I know one of the questions that may be raised, and so I'll answer that before we even get there when it comes to the financial aspects. How does this compare to the contracts that we've had with the village in the past as far as payments concerned, along with the referendum that was passed by the citizens of Stevens Point this last year? And what we did was they are paying the same formula as they have in past contracts with the city, and that is the blended formula, 50% capita, 50% value. The formula continues, but the percentage that we normally have agreed upon and that 3% increase, which you'll see in successor years in this contract, the break between 25 and 26 because of the referendum with what the city taxpayers are paying was a substantial increase to the village. So it just wasn't 3%. We took the total, so with the current budget plus the referendum, what our city taxpayers are paying, we were able to formulate that and come up with a new formula for the Village of Park Ridge. Same formula, but it was a significant increase. It was almost a 31% increase from 25 to 26 that they're going to feel, where we, the citizens in Stevens Point, it was the referendum effective 1/1 of 25. We already had a contract with the Village of Park Ridge, and so theirs will go into effect. Their big change will be 1/1 of 26, and they have already approved this. So just making sure that we're comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges, and understanding that the expectation is that with that increase in fire suppression capabilities and those increase in personnel and what the city's paying, Park Ridge is also paying for part of that.
Is this calculated by population? Is that how you get the original figures for this?
So that would be per capita.
Yeah.
And then the other is based on per value, and what Park Ridge pays is a 50% blended formula, and that's what they've paid in the past.
So in other words, when our budget has gone up because we got more manpower, they essentially are covering some of that.
Cost as well, yes.
So we're not taking a loss by expanding our department.
No, they have.
Costs more to protect Point, but it's going to cost more to protect Park Ridge.
That is correct. So their formula stayed the same off the new projected operational budget for the department.
You had 20 to 30 call, roughly, in this annual report. Look right here. I know it just says 0. I'm assuming that's like 25.
I'd have to point it. I'd have to get you the exact number.
I was just curious.
All right. Chief, one thing I did notice on this part of the contract, will you have to alter the signature of the city clerk? Because the name of a person has changed.
Well, that's depending on when I get this signed.
Okay.
That will play into it, yes.
Okay.
And we actually did that with our, if you look at our union contract, the agreement between the city and Local 484, we actually left that off of there because we weren't sure. This one, we put it on there because we're hoping that we can get this accomplished prior to that date.
Okay.
If it doesn't, we will change it.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the long-term contract with the Village of Park Ridge for fire suppression and first responder needs in the village.
Second on that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments?
Just so everyone is aware, once it leaves here, I will have to take this in front of Finance for approval, and then also Common Council as well. Once that's done, to your question, Commissioner Ostrowski, then I would be looking to get the signatures on it at that point, once everyone's approved it.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on to number 10, Fire Chief Report, EMS Report, EM Report. Chief?
So significant events, we've discussed the grant, and that's been approved, and I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate the Community Foundation stepping up and supporting us as well. We have had 2 new hires, and they have started the new academy, Class 2501, which was this last Monday with Chief Ewing. Their projected graduation date is May 2nd. We also, just to let all the commissioners know, we are also going to be recognizing other members of the department who have been promoted or appointed to other positions within the department at that ceremony, along with recognizing other members who have just recently completed the field FTP program within the Stevens Point Fire Department. Several members of the department are going to be recognized on that May 2nd date in the afternoon. And again, it is open to all of you as well to be there for graduation. Monthly training continues to be always improving, always moving forward, and as you can see within our annual report, 8,000 plus hours of training this past year. Very successful training program the Stevens Point Fire Department has, and really due to our chief officers who manage that program and our instructors within the organization that are out there teaching. It's a team effort, and everybody's involvement really makes it successful. Public activities. Again, we stay active out in the public, and one of the big things I wanted to point out was that again, we continue to do the career fairs and spotlight the department, but there was a charity dinner for the members of the department put together by one of the UW's fraternity organizations for acts that occurred this past year in saving a house that had a working fire in. Our members worked diligently and able to put the fire out, and the organization just wanted to recognize those people and had a dinner for us down at the VFW in Plover, and also, besides recognizing us, did a fundraiser to also put money towards MDA. So that was a very good partnership with them. On the EM side, again, you can read through the bullet points, but one of the big things is training. Continues to work through training, attending training, was at the Wisconsin Association of Hazardous Materials Technician Conference, and then also attended the Governor's Conference in Emergency Management and Homeland Security. He continues to move the department forward. We're in the process of completing our county mitigation plan and reviewing that, and it's a living, breathing document that's 25 plus pages. Has been working with all of the department heads and directors within the city to make sure that that's accomplished and in place. And why that's important, because in the future, if we don't have that mitigation and plan, and chiefs and directors like Chief Cuso are not participating in that, the potential of the BRICS grant that he and the Parks Department wrote together would not be available. In the future, if we don't have this mitigation plan in place, those types of grants will not be available to us. So it's important that we continue to move forward with those things, and he is spearheading those. So again, that's what's going on in the EM world here in Stevens Point. And any questions, fire, EMS, or EM related?
I just have a quick question in regards to the student shadow. Is that an individual that came forward, or is that something that is taking students in? What grades or university? What's a little bit behind that? The student shadow that was on March 17th.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Anybody?
Can any, there we go.
Okay.
Sometimes things,
AC Zavar comes to the rescue.
Not a problem. So we're realizing we're getting several requests from the high schools.
Okay.
The last group actually was from the Townsend Lakeland area, due to one of our own members having some contacts over there. They reached out to him and said, hey, I'm interested in the profession, what can we do? And he said, call Stevens Point. So they actually drove the hour over, spent the day with us. We keep them out of the harmful areas. They're not allowed to ride in the ambulance, but they do get to station tour, realize what the profession's about. We've done, 2 of them came over this last round. I think last month we had another individual that came over. So we're seeing more and more of it, and we're realizing that we have to hit the young adults early, to the point where we're doing explore recruiting in the middle schools now, and actually trying to push the profession at the middle school level. Because what we're finding is most freshmen and sophomores in high school have already decided what career path they want to take. So in order to make sure that we hit those young individuals early, we're hitting them young, and we're basically bringing in, opening up our doors and saying, here, this is the profession, this is what we're about, and hopefully we see you apply with us at some point in time in the future.
So are we letting them know to the schools that we do have this student shadow available?
Yes, all of the counselors are aware that we do have the program available through SPASH and through Pacelli. So it's just a matter of them reaching out to us if they're interested.
And I'm just curious, do we partner with UWSP in regards to the student shadow? Because some of the officers, or in your department too, the firefighters, paramedics have said they went to UWSP, they were ready to graduate, and I found out they don't want that career that they were going to school
Right, we have
for.
not yet. In the past, we found that basically they're not interested because they already have gone down the path of deciding what career they want to go through and the education that they're getting, and it's not till later on after they've attended university that they realize that it's maybe not what they want to do and they start switching professions. Or there are the individuals that make it midway through school at the university and then decide that they want a career change. And again, we're seeing those individuals move automatically into the tech schools in order to get. I just had an individual who actually is local. He's attending the University of Minnesota, came over at Christmas break, and I spent 2.5 hours with him trying to get him in the path that he wanted to. He's basically left the University of Minnesota. He's now attending lacrosse because he still lives over in the west side. Is local though, his parents still live here. And I said, again, I hope you eventually come back and apply with us, because he's now looking at a different profession. So again, we're just opening up our doors to anybody that wants to come in, showing them what we're about, and we're not pushing anybody away. We do have some age limits, just because we want to make sure that we're hitting the right group, but the high school kids is basically where we're really opening up our doors right now.
How long does the student shadow program last? An hour, 2 hours? Whole shift?
We've had, the last group was here 4 hours, I believe. Yeah, it depends what they're looking for too. Some of them are just looking for fire only. Some are looking for fire and EMS, so it all depends on which avenue they want to move to and how much time you want to spend with them then based on, but realistically with the, a full school day. This Christmas break, we actually had a student from Pacelli who actually interned with us as part of his program through their winterim sessions that they do. So he spent an entire week with us, learning about different avenues of the department, spent some time with DC Center doing inspections, spent some time with Assistant Chief Gemza learning about the EMS side, spent some time on the fire side, and basically we open up again the doors to basically say, here's what we're at. And it's working out very well and trying to get young individuals into the career.
And dealing directly with like UWSP, we have partnerships with their fire crews and other certain programs over there that they know where we're at, where we're available, and they've come over and assisted us, or we've assisted them with hanging hose in our hose towers, or participating in training exercise or field exercises, taking them out to the island off the river, and how would we fight these types of wildland fires. So that, again, that's some of the things we've done with their program.
And like I said, I just want to make sure that too, we're not leaving some of with the university students, on tap, that even in the guidance counselor's office, that's saying, hey, we've got this student shadow, because I've heard from other people too that they get to the point of graduation and, or that maybe that last semester and going, what I went to school for, that I have no idea what I want to do, and that's not what I want to do. And that transitioning over, it's just another option that, making sure that they are providing that guidance too, as an open door, another option.
And we can do that as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anything else, Chief?
Not unless something else.
I'll make a motion to approve the fire chief report and EMS report and EM report.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion carries. We are adjourned.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.